can see, there's barely any ants, and the spider was so scared trying to run.
This one ant is like, bite me. Catch me outside. Hello, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Welcome back. And today we are reacting to a video called 1,000 Ants versus Black Widow. Before I watch the video, I have no idea what it's even about. If we're gonna learn stuff, I feel like the ants, right? I mean, it's one Black Widow. I feel like 1,000 ants. There's no way. All right, let's watch this one.
If 1,000 ants had to fight a Black Widow, what would actually happen? Would
Yeah.
the spider's venom come out on top, or would the sheer number of ants overwhelm her? Well, in this video, I'm gonna test ants against
There's
that
so
and
many.
tons of other interesting scenarios to see how strong ants really are. The only problem is I don't have 1,000 ants. Thankfully, I found this website that sells just that. And the coolest thing is, it's a mystery.
Oh, he's gonna
species.
actually
We might
buy
actually get
them?
something really
Wait,
good.
he's actually buying the
$300.
ants?
Let's just add this to the cart. And I bought the most expensive shipping
I
option
thought he was
to make
gonna
sure
use
the
like
ants
a
would arrive without
simulator or
any dying
something.
during the shipping. Oh, I am so excited. As long as I get a good species, it's gonna be so fun to watch these go against the
Whoa.
Black Widow and everything else I have planned for them. Anyways, I brought them to the recording area and opened up
I
the
want
package.
2 of them.
And I was kind of surprised by what I found. No, are they in here? Oh my
Whoa.
gosh, okay, there actually
In a
is like
pill
1,000.
bottle?
Okay, at least I didn't get scammed.
Is that
Since they were in a
1,000?
pill bottle, I couldn't really get a good look at them, so I got a clear container and dumped them all inside. Instantly, you
Whoa.
could now see the true scale of what 1,000
the one
ants
climbing
actually
on
looks
top.
like. And at least, I mean, I think it's 1,000. I'm not counting
It
all
is
these
really
guys.
sad for
and
the
after analyzing
spider.
the species, I realized that these were harvester ants, which are equipped with venomous stingers
Whoa.
and massive mandibles, meaning yes, this was actually going to be a very
Yeah, how do
interesting
they
video
breathe?
with everything I was going to test. Now, for these 1,000 ants to be able to fight a Black Widow, we first need to get them in a nest. And well, everyone, say hello to the Terra jar. It's like Terra
Ooh.
Green, except I replaced the green with a jar. Anyways, let me go and dump all these guys in here. Be free, everyone. This is
That
way
is a
bigger
lot of
than that
ants.
tiny pill bottle you were in. Right away, you could see the ants starting to move around on top of the soil. Now, you might be thinking that this isn't enough space for the ants. Well, it actually is, because this is specifically designed for the ants to dig out tunnels all along the
Dig a
sides of the
tunnel,
glass.
dig
And as the
a
video
tunnel.
progresses, we're gonna see their nest get crazier and crazier. And yeah, most of the ants were kind of going crazy trying to climb up the glass, but after leaving them alone for only a few hours, you could see they were already starting to construct their tunnel system. Each of the worker ants would pick up singular grains of sand from the tunnels, walk up to the surface,
They're such hard workers.
drop the sand, and go
Dude,
back
they're so
down to
interesting.
repeat.
Okay, I actually really used to like ants. When I was a kid, I've always found ants to be so intriguing. They're just so coordinated and cool, and like they're just so cool. They're so cool to look at.
Process.
I like
When you
watching
have
this
1,000
stuff.
ants, you can see they dig out a pretty good amount in only just an
Hi,
hour
Daddy.
of this time-lapse footage. Oh,
They
yeah,
were
it's sick
harder
to
than
see the
me.
ants already starting to build their nest, and it should be fully
they're
dug out by
locked
the end of the
in.
video. Anyways, as you know, I'll be putting these guys to the test against a Black Widow. But before then, I have
Wait,
all
now
of
I
these
suddenly
different
feel
training
bad.
activities to prepare the ants for the final spider boss. And second up, we're gonna see how fast they can take down some prey. Yup. We've got
Is that a
cricket.
grasshopper? Oh, it's
my
a
gosh,
cricket.
crickets hate
Grasshopper.
me, and sorry, buddy,
Cricket.
you are gonna be, well, I guess you guys will just see what's about to happen.
Oh,
Well, right
no.
after dropping the cricket in, literally within
Dude.
like a nanosecond, the ants were swarming it.
Bro never stood a chance though. I used to like ants until I fell rollerblading on an anthill and died to their bites while trying to unbuckle the rollerblades. Okay, that sounds absolutely horrible. I can tell you that you would only need 500 ants. Yeah, this
I
is
thought it
gonna
would
be
only
intriguing.
take like a couple minutes, but no. This cricket was already pinned down,
Dude,
getting venom
dude.
injected into him. As I said earlier, each of these ants is
He
equipped with a
never stood
venomous
a
stinger that is
chance.
obviously not super deadly to humans, but to crickets, when there's like 20 ants repeatedly stinging you, you're kind of done for. Yep, ants don't play around when there's a threat near their nest, and you can see over the next 30 minutes, the cricket stayed completely surrounded by the ants.
Dude,
And I'm
that's
guessing they already
freaking
started to rip its
crazy.
antennas off and stuff to get a tasty meal to spread with the rest of the colony. Dang, that was cool to watch. Anyways, it's getting late, so I think I'm gonna go and put this bucket on
Put
top
some
of the ants so it's
bucket.
dark for them. I'm gonna go to sleep, and hopefully when
There
I
you
wake
go.
up, there's gonna be
Now
some
it's
more
nighttime.
tunnels. Anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys in the morning. And over those next 10 hours, the ants made their tunnels so much larger and more intricate than before. And on the back, they
Whoa.
even had tunnels all the way down at the bottom, with ants actively walking about the whole system. Anyway, ants, it's 8 a.m.
That's so cool.
It's time As you can see, the bell alarm's going off. It's time for challenge number 3. Let's get these ants trained even more. For this training, I have to pick up one unlucky ant and transport him to the ant lion pit.
Dude, that would be me. If I was an ant, I'd be the unlucky one.
Don't know what an ant lion is? Well, this is it. It's just a tiny little bug that has actually evolved over millions of years to be an expert at taking down ants. Basically, when you go and put them on the floor, they start to dig themselves under the ground, and then they just go around digging. And I have 9 more of these guys, which I spread across the whole tank. And as you can see, they all dig around, making these little lines in the ground. But after waiting a few hours, you can see that each of the ant lions had actually dug out their own little pits in the ground, and when an ant walks into the bottom of them,
he
they're
just
basically
snatches
cooked.
them, right?
All right, ant, I'm gonna put you right at the...
That's like that thing in Peak. They have that in
At
Peak.
the end, I'm gonna put some breadcrumbs so you can bring back to the colony if you survive this. And without further ado, I let the ant loose. Let's see if he can get the bread to feed the colony.
Pour one out for the
Immediately,
home
he started
shot.
to explore around the sand area. He had
Ant
no idea
Squid
that he
Games.
was constantly walking near
You got
these
this,
pits
bro.
of
We
death.
believe in
And
you.
eventually, he took a wrong
Lock
step
in,
and
lock
stumbled
in.
inside of one. These pits are specifically designed to make the ants trip into them, but the ant lion at the bottom must have been
That's so
sleeping or something
sad.
because nothing happened and the ant was just able to walk out. But if you look closely, this caused the ant lion to wake up. He was now active and armed, with his mandibles now throwing up sand in case the ant walked in again. And over the next few minutes, the ant did just that. He kept walking inside of the pit, but the ant lion just could never quite snap on the ant at the right time.
Let's go!
Well, that was
Dude,
until
he's
this.
locked
You see, this is
in.
paused footage, but basically if we unpause
We
it,
got
you can see
this. We
exactly
got
what
this.
happens when an ant lion gets a hold of the ant. The ant lion started to bring the ant underground, and within a few seconds, it was like there was never anything even here. I thought it was over, and you could tell by the sand moving that the ant was getting pulled further and further underground. But all of a sudden, I saw this. A little bit of the ant's head had poked out of the ground. He somehow was fighting back and must have been using its stinger to try and escape. I immediately rushed back and recorded with my other camera, and what I saw was so weird. The ant had somehow made it out from under the sand, but it wasn't trying to escape. In fact, it was using its front legs to try and dig back under the ground.
What?
Whoa, what the heck? Why is this ant digging like a dog? He's literally using his front legs to dig in the sand where he almost just got killed.
What if
Bro,
he's
this guy's
scared and
crazy.
lonely?
Nah, bro, if you want to be eaten by an ant lion that bad, I will gladly put you right there. Have fun, buddy.
And right after putting him in this pit, this
Why
ant
would he
lion
do
also
this?
woke up and eventually snapped at the ants. And it once again started to pull him underground. But miraculously, this ant was able to fight back once again and somehow broke free, immediately
Dude, I'm
ran
so
out
hyped
of the
for this
hole and
ant.
straight over to the breadcrumbs to claim his prize. Nah, this ant tricked me to have me move him closer to the bread,
Got
and
him.
now he somehow
Got
won the
him.
challenge.
Nah, bro, there is something up with these ants. I'm being dead serious.
Dude, he's so
How
smart.
on earth did he escape the ant lion pit
I
over
love this
here?
ant.
And how
I'm
on earth
like
did he escape
emotionally
this one
attached
and
to
then
this
know
ant
to go to
now.
the bread, and now is trying to bring bread back to the colony.
Bro, well played. You survived.
I'll bring you and all the bread back to the colony.
So I brought it all over to the nest, and the entire colony
Dude,
was
they're
clearly
so
super excited
strong.
because they all swarmed the bread and started taking little pieces of it underground. Anyways, I went and waited a
Dude,
few
he was
hours
like the
and came back to find the
MVP.
nest even bigger once again. But the ants still are
They
not
probably
done with
threw
their
a little
training
party
sessions.
for
And
him.
next up, we got to see if they can survive some Venus flytraps
I'd
or
love
some
Venus
food. So I
flytraps.
immediately picked up some of the workers to
They're
bring them
so
to the
cool.
flytrap minefield, completely decked out with tons of Venus flytrap plants. For the food on this obstacle,
Oh, it's
we
so
got
cool.
a gorilla. And I'm just kidding. I don't know why it's packaged in this.
Gorilla.
Basically, what it is just a bunch of oats. And I'm just gonna feed these to the ants. Let's put them inside. You see, each Venus flytrap has these tiny little trigger hairs inside of them, and when
They're so
something
cute.
touches them, it causes them to close. And if I carefully put
They're
the
really
oats in
sensitive,
between the
too.
hairs without hitting any of them, I can basically just put the food in here, which will make the ants have to carry them out.
If I'm
But it was
not
actually pretty hard
mistaken,
to get
I think Venus flytraps can die very easily too, so you gotta be gentle with them.
the oats perfectly inside, so I ended up just spreading the oats everywhere around the tank. All right, let's see how the ants do in here. I have a feeling
I'm
they're
excited
not
to
gonna
see
do
this.
too well, but yeah, we'll see. Immediately, the ants had started to swarm out
Be
the tube that I
free.
put them in, and they were probably really confused of why they were all just transported away from their nest. And for a little while, they kind of just walked around, investigating their new environment.
They're like,
That
"What
was
is
until
this?"
a couple minutes later, where this first ant walked up to a Venus flytrap plant. He probably had no idea that these plants were basically alive and wanted to eat him whole. Thankfully, though, this guy was able to walk out of the plants without triggering any of the
Dude,
traps.
he's so
However, a
lucky.
few minutes later, this ant walked up to another one of the plants, and well, this time all I'll say is he wasn't as lucky. Surprisingly, he
Oh,
wasn't
no.
super attracted to the
Bro got
oats,
got.
but it did seem like he may have been attracted to the traps themselves. You see, Venus flytraps create a very thin layer of nectar around the lip of the
Oh,
jaws
I
to
didn't know
lure
that.
insects in. And eventually, this ant ended up, well, walking into one, hitting a trigger hair, and just like that,
Dang.
he was now stuck inside of the jaws.
Can we get F's
As
in
you
the
can
chat
see,
for
the
the
ant was
ant?
just walking around inside trying to escape, and he had no idea what
GG's,
to
homie.
do. Too bad for this guy. This trap is going to release a type of acid over the next few days to basically just turn him into some nutrients to make the plant even stronger. Now, interestingly enough, pretty much all the ants I had put inside were staying away from the traps and were all grouped up around this corner. In fact, they were actually starting the process of digging some more tunnels. Now,
Dang,
these ants still
they
think they're in the
immediately
nest. They're just trying
locked
to
in.
dig. Well, I mean, I guess it's pretty smart if you're not getting eaten by the traps. Because over the next 20 minutes, only one single ant came across another Venus flytrap. This guy. Let's call him Larry. Now, Larry is a daredevil because he was walking all over the
Dude,
jaws
Larry
of
don't
all
give
of
a
these plants,
fuck.
absolutely risking it for the biscuit. But eventually, Larry's luck ran out because of this happened. The jaw had closed on him,
Larry!
leaving half of his body stuck out of it. But this was actually pretty good for Larry because it means he had a chance to escape. Using
Lock
all
in,
of
Larry,
his
lock
strength,
in.
which albeit is not very much, he tried pushing himself out of the jaws.
that a
But
spider?
the trap is designed to just
There's
get
a spider
tighter
in there.
and tighter as time goes on, meaning this ant was doomed. Well, not actually, because I kind of felt bad for Larry, so I cheated nature and used my tweezers to open
Oh,
the trap.
no.
I safely got Larry out and brought him back to the rest of the colony. Anyways, that training actually went really well.
Larry
Every
got
single ant
out.
survived
Larry
except
got
for one.
out.
So I brought them all back to the nest and gave the whole colony a bunch of these little gorilla oats to show
You,
my support.
you have to be really careful with Venus flytraps, though, because if you mess with them too much, you can kill them. Larry lives! I was worried he was about to accidentally kill the Venus
As you can see, it
flytrap.
didn't take long for some of the ants to start moving the oats down to their intricate
Thank you for the
tunnel
follow.
systems. And speaking of these tunnel systems, the last training session I'm putting these ants through before the Black Widow is a flood simulation. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm flooding this ant nest.
Well, kinda, because if I actually
Don't-
flooded this thing, it would kill every single ant. So instead, I've got this thing
Oh,
called
okay.
the little dripper, which as you can see, drips
I
some
fall
water
out.
droplets very slowly.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought he was about to pour water in there.
It might seem kind of lame, but this little bit of water should be enough to eventually collapse part of the ant's tunnel system. And if it does
Oh.
collapse, if they can fix
So
it
it's just
quickly,
enough
it
to
means
mess
they
with
would have
them a
passed
bit.
all my training missions, and that means they're ready for the Black Widow. So I immediately started to drop the little droplets of water. And initially, the ants were very confused. Some of the droplets were hitting the ants and making them get completely
Like,
drenched
what is
in
that?
water. But to my surprise, it almost seemed like the ants wanted to get wet because more and more of the ants started to gather around where the water
Dude,
was
they're
dropping.
like free
And
baths.
eventually, a whole pile of ants was getting completely
Whoa.
soaked by it. You see, ants are amazing in their ability to work as a team. And in the wild, if a real flood
so
occurred,
cool.
a massive ant colony would literally
Whoa.
join together to make a raft out of their bodies. And that way, the
What
important
the
stuff
fuck?
like the queen and eggs could stay on the top and stay dry to ensure the
water.
future of the colony.
Shower
And on a
time.
mini scale, this is sort of what the ants are doing here. They're joining together to make a shield out of their bodies that will
That's
prevent the water from
crazy.
getting into their tunnels
Dude,
where all the eggs
They're
are stored.
insane.
Ants are actually amazing. I was
Ants going, only one more shower until the boss fight.
fully expecting these tunnels to just collapse from the water, but it seems like ants have literally evolved to do pretty much anything.
Dude,
I'll
they
remove this water. I don't want to
adapted.
do any more harm. You guys prove to me you're very capable.
They
Let's
instantly
go,
took
they're
down the
locked
cricket,
in.
somehow escaped the
I'm
ant
rooting for
lions,
them right now.
survived the Venus flytraps, and even survived a flood. And throughout that process, they managed to build an awesome nest with a thriving colony.
It is safe to say these ants are ready for my Black Widow. Now this is actually my last Black Widow because all the other ones from my other videos have escaped.
Oh.
Yeah, don't tell my mom.
But anyways, I went and
Don't tell
put the
my
Black
mom.
Widow in a container so you guys could get a good look at it. And as you can tell, it has that insane, iconic red hourglass abdomen. Wait,
That's
wait, sorry,
not
this is my
it.
pet robot Black Widow. This is not the real one. Here is the real Black Widow. As you can tell, it's extremely creepy. And under its glossy black abdomen is where the red hourglass is
I'm not a
located.
fan of
These guys have an
spiders.
insane amount of venom, so if it even bites a single ant, it's safe to say it's gonna be a goner. Anyways, here is the
But I
tank
am
where the
interested
final
in how
battle
this,
will take
plays
place. I
out.
went and put a few sticks from my
Yeah,
backyard,
I'm doing fine, I'm doing
then
fine.
I put in the Black Widow. Immediately, she started climbing all over the sticks, and I went and waited a little while while
She
she
is
sort of settled
purty.
in and
She is
found
a
a nice
purty,
spot to
purty
rest.
spider.
Once she did, I went to the ant nest, scooped a good amount of the workers into a tube so we could get this battle started.
Let's get these ants in here. Let the games begin!
Let's go!
Immediately, the ants started to run out of the tube and down onto the sand. When pretty much all of the ants had made it down to the
They're
sand,
so cute.
some
Look at
started to
them.
make their
Look
way
at their
over
little
to the
legs.
Black Widow, which was just
Oh.
perched right above them on the sticks. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty impatient guy, and I couldn't bear to wait for the battle to start. So I literally picked up the stick myself to bring the
like,
spider
"Fight!"
down to the ants. Immediately, the spider started to run around, and none of the ants really noticed besides this guy. That kind of bit the spider's leg or something and scared it away. The spider tried to escape as fast as it
Let me
could by
out!
climbing the glass, but it was too slick. Once a few other of the ants had
Open the
noticed the Black
door.
Widow was on the ground, they started to jump it. And it was actually
There's
pretty funny
no
to
way,
watch,
bro.
because as you can see, there's barely any ants, and the spider was so scared trying to run
This one ant is like, bite me. Pass me outside.
away at full speed. Bro, you're like the most venomous spider in the world. Why are you not just fighting back? And yeah, a couple of the ants just kind of continued to tear
I'm not stuck in here with you. You're stuck in here with me. Dude, I feel so bad. She doesn't even want to fight any of them. Dude, these guys,
rise
these
the
ants are
Black
crazy.
Widow. But the thing is, all of the rest of the ants were kind of just doing their own thing at the other
what
side
do
of the
you want,
enclosure.
bro?
I had to make this more interesting, so I had a better plan. I went and picked up all of the ants to bring them back to the nest.
All right, well, I got the Black Widow from the tank. And hey, the title did say 1,000 ants versus Black Widow.
Yeah.
Let's actually put this to the test against 1,000 ants.
And well, I
Oh
dropped
my
the spider
gosh.
inside, and it immediately started going crazy, running everywhere. And obviously,
Dude,
the
she
ants
never
did not
stood a
act
chance.
Every single worker went on red alert mode and jumped onto the spider, grabbing her with their mandibles and repeatedly stinging it over and over. As you saw with the cricket, ants do not mess around with stuff in their nest. And to my surprise, the Black Widow did not
I don't
even
even
get a
wanna
chance
mess
to
with
fight
the
back.
ants.
It's actually pretty crazy how quickly the ants had pinned it down and started to devour it. And yeah, well, that's literally all that happened. And that should answer your question of who wins in a fight. 1,000 ants definitely wins, and they
1,000,
basically
yep.
beat everything. There's a reason why ants are the secret king of the animal kingdom, because there's quadrillions of ants around
Yeah,
the world.
One
how
final thing. I have an
how was
important
she even
message
supposed
for
to
all
ever
the kids
compare?
and families and parents watching out there. Because the new Terror Green Activity book was just released. No, seriously, we just released this book that we put so much time into to make it the most educational,
I
fun
love
experience
coloring
ever.
books.
Everything can be colored, and it's a journey that goes through
It's
all
so
5
relaxing
different
to color.
biomes. But not only are there so many tons of fun facts, but it
Oh,
lets
it's
you
so
test your
cool.
creativity. Like on this page, you got to design the
1,000
perfect avatar for a
widows
message
versus
giver. On this
one
you get
ant
to
to
design your
win.
own axolotl for each of them.
Dude, that was crazy. Oh my gosh. R.I.P. Black Widow. We love you.